Okay, Torah Parshas Miketz, page Lamed Gimel, first column. We didn't finish the paragraph yet. Anyway, now the Rebbe was explaining that there are different levels of Gan Eden, and in order for the neshama to come to Gan Eden to be able to handle this great level of Kedusha, it needs garments. Like we know, you want to look at the sun, you need something to block it. So you need something in the garments to be able to handle the powerful Gilui of Gan Eden. So he says, what is that? That's the mitzvahs that the person does his whole life, and therefore the mitzvahs become the garment and the shield, so to speak, that a person is able to handle Elokus. So we're like 2, 4, 6, 8 lines from the end of the paragraph. That's the ultimate purpose of the neshama coming into the world. Which is Seirach Aliyah, which is in order to elevate the neshama to a place higher than it was before. How? They asiyas a mitzvah. By doing a mitzvah, he's able to handle a higher level of revelation and the enjoyment now through this curtain, which is the mitzvahs. That the neshama gets dressed up in Gan Eden and b'levusha mitzvahs, in the garments of mitzvahs, ki mitzvahs shashem megolgolta b'keser elyon. Like we said yesterday, where does the source of mitzvahs? Mitzvahs are makifim, not premius. So that refers to the top of the skull, which covers the brain, meaning higher than the brain, and the level of keser. What? Golgolta. Yeah. Golgolta is Aramaic. By doing the mitzvahs which Hashem wants. Say today is the action. And tomorrow you get the reward in Gan Eden. So the Alter Rebbe is explaining what's going on over here. The level of the neshama coming down is, even though the neshama was in a very great place before it came down, but nevertheless the purpose of the neshama is to go higher. How? By doing mitzvahs, it's able to handle a higher level of Gan Eden than the neshamas were before they did the mitzvahs. When the pleasure of the neshama becomes the pleasure of Hashem, through the cover and the garment of the mitzvahs. That the mitzvahs are the intermediary to connect Elokus higher than world and world. Because Kesed, generally speaking, the level of a crown, connects higher and lower. Because what does a crown do? A crown is on the head. It goes into the head a little bit. But the higher part of the crown, equivalent arachnatic, right? The lower part of the crown is on top of the head, but it's resting on the head or a little bit into the head. You know, when you put the crown on. And then you have the higher part of the crown, which is completely not connected. So Kesed, meaning mitzvahs, like you said yesterday we learned, Kesed is Tarach, 620, which represents 613 and 7 rabbinic mitzvahs, which equals 620. These mitzvahs are the intermediary that allows the infinite level of Elokus to come down into the finite level of the Neshama in Gan Eden. Okay, so he says, that's the whole inyan of the mirrors that the women brought in the Mishkan. One of the donations of the women gave was the mirrors. And Moshe Rabbeinu was hesitant to use them because they said they were made for to look good and profanity and all that. So Hashem told them, on the contrary, this is what their purpose. And on the contrary, they made the wash basin out of these mirrors, because that was the beginning of the avodah of the day. So he says, what's the meaning of a mirror? It's a glass that you look into. But it says, it doesn't say mar'eh hatzeves. Mar'eh is plural. That means there's 2 types of mirrors. There's 2 types of mirrors. There is a magnet. Is that working?
It's open. Thank you for patient.
Huh?
It's warm. Crazy.
Ask him. This guy has a hand. I don't know. Whenever he touches it, it works. Okay, there's two types of glasses. There's a glass that's called a magnifying glass. Zchuchis habihira. You're able to see very far, like a magnifying glass, a telescope. I mean, the same thing. You're able to see very far. That's the difference between Moshe Rabbeinu and all the other prophets. By Moshe Rabbeinu, when Hashem was screaming at Aaron and Miriam, when they started complaining about Moshe Rabbeinu, separating himself from the wife, Parshat Baleischa, so Hashem said to them, what are you talking about? How do you compare yourself to Moshe Rabbeinu? Moshe Rabbeinu looks b'mada v'lo b'chidas, meaning straight without like riddles or coverings or anything like that. Uksiv mada b'sego, which is lashon dechad, which is masculine, meaning that even something which is far, binoculars, whatever, that something that magnifies what you see. It's the same thing, mitzvahs. That the neshama comes into Gan Eden b'levush ha-mitzvahs. Aydei levush, and now through this garment of mitzvah, shedei ma'itza mitzvahs, and now so he says like this, just like a magnifying glass, it allows you to see things bigger. Mitzvahs are a magnifying glass that let you get a greater revelation in Gan Eden. Like this, the neshama can't have this great, it's too, like you're looking at the sun, you can't see, it's too great. So you have the garments. And he says, Oleon is married and to enjoy the light. Was working?
Yeah, he turned on.
You turned it on?
We got reset.
Yeah, because I reset it before. I don't know, whatever.
Everything he touches.
I know. Or Yosef, Shenimshech, when his gala earns of Maamar Lamata B'Gan Eden. Or Moshe Rabbeinu, he says, interesting. He says even Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't able to see. It's an interesting thing. His own nevuah, when Hashem said b'mada, with the magnifying glass, with the telescope, with binoculars, whatever, he said even Moshe Rabbeinu was only able to see Elokus to that level of a binoculars or telescope. Or Kamesha calls it b'mada b'loy b'chidus. Even Moshe Rabbeinu wouldn't be able to understand, grasp Elokus without this level of a mirror. A magnifying glass, not the opposite of a mirror. Telescope, binoculars, whatever. Becomes a glass that doesn't shine. Like it says, Hashem says, in the hands of the Nevi'im, Adam means it domeh, similar. It's not the real thing, it's similar. What is the case of a spaklai that doesn't shine? He says in Yiddish, Hanikra Spiegel, which means a mirror. He says like this, what's a mirror? You have a piece of glass, but in the back of the glass, there's something, a thin, but he says, interesting, he's going to explain it very interestingly. It's a very thin covering in the back. In other words, not only can you not see big outside, you can't even see anything outside of the mirror, through the mirror. But he says, it's not something thick. It says, something very thin. He said like tzipui kasef, like a little plate of gold, of silver. Then what you see is a reflection. In other words, like this. We learned already, Chassidus explains, there's Or Yashar, the straight light, and there's Or Chayzer, the bouncing back light. You have a mashal, we learned this in another Maamar. You can get sunburnt, sitting in the sun, But then you can get also sunburned from when the sun hits the sidewalk and bounces back. So the heat, because it bounces back, becomes stronger than the regular sun. Stronger. You ever throw something against the wall and it bounces back? So that bouncing back goes further than the amount you threw. Let's say you stand 5 feet away from the wall, yeah? You throw a ball at the ball comes back more than 5 feet. You can get burned. Kids get burned even when they're in a carriage with a cover from to the ground. The angle of the sun can get them.
Sometimes one get suntan, hold the aluminum foil on.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, so he says, but you can't see with a mirror through it, like in a magnifying glass. You don't see the actual thing, you only see an image of it. When you look in a mirror, you don't see, even when you see yourself in the mirror, you don't see yourself. You see an image of yourself, not yourself. Only an image. Okay, so he says over like this. There's two types of Maamaris Hatzevais. It says Maris plural. So he says there's two types of Maris. There's one level of Mari that's called magnifying glass, this Yashar, meaning you could see the thing much bigger than it is without the magnifying glass, the binoculars, whatever. That's the level of Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu was able to see Elokus b'Mare v'lei b'chidos. The pasuk says, Hashem told Aaron Moshe Rabbeinu sees Elokus b'Mare, also with a mirror, not a mirror, a glass, but that's a spakaya me'ira, like the kids say in the bar mitzvah Maamar. That's both aggressor and glows. Yeah, which is, by the way, another word Yiddish for magnifying glass. But the other Nevi'im, it was only Koyamar Hashem, not Zehadava Moshe Rabbeinu said this. He was able to see it, because when you have a mirror, it means there's something in the back blocking it. So seemingly, it's a lower level. Because when you see through a magnifying glass, you see the thing itself. Not only do you see the thing itself, you see it bigger than if you didn't look in the magnifying glass. A mirror, on the other hand, seemingly is lower. There's a blockage, and therefore you only see an image, you don't see the thing itself. But, he says, Amnam, yesh basakla, yeshena mira, maila echad, gavaya b'madrega. Okay? He said, but there's a big advantage to a mirror over a magnifying glass. What's the advantage? You could see yourself, and you can see what's going on behind you. With a regular magnifying glass, you can only see in front of you. This, you could see yourself and behind you. Which is the level of Eretz Kadma. Okay. So he said, this is what the Gemara answers in Yevamis. Yeshaya Shamer ve'eres Havaya. He says, in other words, like this. There's a question. Yeshaya said, this is what the Gemara asks. It says, Yeshaya said, ve'eres Hashem. Yeah, he saw God. The pasuk says, Le'irani Adam v'chai. No person can see me and live. How could Yeshaya say I saw God? If you see God, the pasuk says you die. So the Rebbe says, basically what the Gemara explains, is Paklai Shena Mira. Sheba Yachal, it says Hashem. Meaning like this, he only saw a vision, an image of Hashem. That he was able to see. Because all the Nevi'im only said Nevuah, Paklai She'ena Me'ira. Only Kayamar Hashem, not the real thing, an image, a vision. So he says, but Mashain can aspaklaya mi'ira. See if it says, Kilo Yirani Adam, a person cannot see me and live, is the level of Bechol Meidecha. That's the level of the infinite. In other words, another simple thing, or Yashar is Sadiqim, or Chez is Bali Tshuva. Or Yosha means Mumayla Lamata, you're doing a goody-goody, you're doing this, Torah mitzvahs, you're acting properly. Bal Tshuva bounces back from low to high. That's the Or Chayzer. That's why the Eibishter made Or Yosha and Or Chayzer. There's Tzadikim and there's Bali Tshuva. Purpose of the neshama coming down into the world is to become a Bal Tshuva. B'nyas Baklai, the level B'chol Meidach, Hainu in Yiri, the neshama B'guf. The neshama is coming down into the body. Tzarech Aliyah, which is for the sake of elevation, Lahapech Nefesh Habamis, to transform the Nefesh Habamis. How do you transform the Nefesh Habamis? He says, Aidei is Kafi V'Sapcha, B'chol Meidach B'li Gvul, L'mayla Min HaKeli, above the vessel, then Gamkin Shalei B'Seidev Itzdeach Ishtalshel Meir and Elyin. In other words, like this. What does B'chol Meidach mean? It doesn't only mean all your money, it means all your might. Ma'id is beligvul, unlimited. So it says like this, when a person serves Hashem, v'ahavta, loving God, not only b'chol levavcha, all your heart, and all your soul, but also all your might, meaning you break your barriers. What does b'chol meidach mean? Instead of learning 10 minutes, you learn 15 minutes. Right? Like the Gemara says, Lamed Gimel. Like the Gemara says, you go overtime. The Rebbe explains in Tanya. What is called Eved Elokim? One who breaks his nature. Learns 101 times. Okay, so B'chol Meidach means you break your nature. So when a person serves Hashem by breaking their nature, Hashem Kaviyachal breaks his nature too, that he reveals a level of godliness that he would otherwise not reveal. Because the nature of Hashem is to reveal Elokus in a certain way. Way of the world, Zishtalshalos. A person breaks his nature, B'chol Meidecha, so the Eibishter breaks his nature, Kaviyachal, and he gives a revelation of Elokus infinite. He says, what's the covering in the back of the mirror? That's the Nefesh Habamis that blocks you from seeing Elokus. In other words, without the silver in the back, without the covering in the back of the mirror, you're going to see straight through. Right? What's going to happen? The covering which refers to the Nefesh Habamis in the body that block the person from seeing Elokus straight. So what happens? But you see greater, he says, which is the Nefesh Habamis, but he says like this, he said the Nefesh Habamis is not a total covering. It's not something, like you said, you put a thick covering in the back of the glass, you're not going to have a mirror. It has to be a thin covering. They tell a story, it's a famous tzedakah story, huh? There was a guy who was a very big, he had a lot of hospitality, gave a lot of tzedakah, and he was a very nice person. And his Rebbe came to his house once and he saw how nice he was. So he gave him a bracha to become very wealthy. The guy became very wealthy, but when he became wealthy, like everybody knows, then you already seen you get butlers throwing you out of the house, and he stopped giving tzedakah, and he didn't let people into the house, and this and that. So it got back to his Rebbe that this guy changed his personality. So the Rebbe said, it's my fault, I have to help it. So he comes to the house, the butler, so he says, tell him it's me. So he hears his Rebbe, comes, gets all excited, he brings his Rebbe into the house, they sit down by the table, and the Rebbe says to him, come here. Takes him to the window, takes the rich man to the window, and he says, what do you see? He says, I see this person, that lady, that man, that boy, this kid, the tailor, this. And then he says, come here. Brings over to a nice, beautiful mirror in the house, and he says, what do you see now? He says, I see myself. He says, I don't understand. This is glass, this is glass. Why this glass you see other people? In this glass you only see yourself. So the Rebbe says, I'll tell you why. I think it's the silver that's in the back. And the Rebbe starts going to the back of the mirror and starts erasing, getting this. The guy, I got it. Says, the silver, now you only see yourself. Like this, without the money, you see everybody else. Now you have the silver, you only see yourself.
Rabbi, we're assuming that lining in the back is shiny. What happens if it's not shiny?
The Nefesh Abamis is shiny. It comes from the world of Teho. Are you kidding? It's a shining greatness, Nefesh Abamis. But he says, it's interesting. The second column, fifth line. It's not a total blockage. But it allows it to break evil and transform evil. Right? It becomes a reflective light. Through the concealment, okay, what did the blockage accomplish? It's a new type of light that you couldn't see before. Before the blockage, you only saw through the glass, so you only saw Aryosha. Now you cover it, meaning the neshama comes down in the body with its concealment and blockages and all that stuff. Then you get a new type of gilui that you didn't have before, the level of Archayzer. You're able to see even behind you. Like the Gemara says, you have to think what's before you, what's after you, what's behind you. By transforming the Nefesh Abamis through B'chomei Decha, Yetesef Eramer Gamke. Then this level of Elokus, it's a new revelation. The Neshama in Gan Eden is only Aryosha, the magnifying glass. Yeah, now it has also the Archayzer. By breaking evil, the starting Hashem reveals. The starting doesn't mean leaving; it means revealing Elokus. And the higher level, Shlapi say the Rishtalshin, which is called Aspaklaya Delay Nahara, which is called not a magnifying glass, the mirror glass. And he says, this Gili, the Rebbe explains out like this. He could say, is what is explained in another place, the passage says, Kadeshim to you, right, the famous Medrash. So the Medrash says, Yachol Kameini. You think you could be as great, this simple meaning of the Medrash. The passage says, Kadeshim to you, beginning of Pashas Kadeshim, yeah? Kadeshim to you, Ki Kadesh Ani Hashem Alakechem. You should be holy because I am holy. So the Medrash says, Yachol Kameini, the simple meaning of the Medrash is, Yachol Kameini, you think you could be as great as me, as holy as me? So it says, no, Kedushasi l'mayla m'kedushascha. My Kedusha is greater than your Kedusha. That's the simple meaning of the Medrash. So the Rebbe brings down the Sichos from the earlier Rabbi, the Magid. He says like this, it's not a question. Simply to mention, you think you could be like me? No, you can't. I'm greater than you. That's the simple meaning. The Magid said, Yachol Kameini, you could be like me. Yachol, it's not a question, it's a statement. Yachol Kameini, you could be as holy as me. Why? Because Kedushasi l'mayla m'kedushaschem simple means my Kedusha is above yours. He says no. Kedushasi, my Kedusha l'mayla that I have up there, Hashem says, my holiness is m'kedushaschem from your Kedusha, from your holiness. You make me holy. So you could be as holy as me. It's a remarkable statement, by the way.
Who's the you?
The Jew. The Jew. No, Hashem speaking to the Jew. Because Hashem says to the Jew, Kedushasi l'mayla, my Kedusha up here. Where does it come from? Mi Kedushaschem, from your Kedusha. Your Kedusha brings my Kedusha. It's pretty powerful, by the way.